In a quiet little town, where life moved slowly and dreams often faded into routine, there was a small cafe that smelled of roasted beans and warm bread. The wooden chairs creaked with the weight of stories told over the years, and sunlight streamed through the dusty windows every morning, bringing a soft glow of comfort to whoever entered. Behind the counter worked a woman named Emily Parker, a kind-hearted waitress with gentle eyes and a tired smile. Emily had worked in that cafe for nearly 5 years. Every day, she tied her hair back, put on her faded apron, and served strangers with kindness that never asked for anything in return. She wasn't rich, but her heart overflowed with empathy. Life hadn't been easy on her. She was a single mother raising a little girl named Lily, barely surviving paycheck to paycheck. Yet, despite her struggles, she always found reasons to smile. One cold morning, as rain drizzled softly against the windows, Emily wiped down the counter and greeted each customer with her usual warmth. Her regulars knew her well. "Morning, Em," said Mr. Harris, one of the locals. "You look tired again." Emily smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Long night. Lily had a fever. But she's better now. Coffee for here or to go?" He nodded and left a small tip, more than usual. Emily noticed but didn't say a word. She was grateful for every small kindness. A few minutes later, the bell above the cafe door chimed again. An old man stepped inside. His clothes were worn out, his coat tattered, and his shoes carried the weight of long roads traveled. He looked around shyly before finding an empty seat by the window. Emily approached him with her soft voice. "Good morning, sir. What can I get you?" The man hesitated. "Just a black coffee, please." He patted his pockets nervously, his face suddenly pale. I'm sorry. I thought I had some change. Seems I left my wallet somewhere. I'll just be on my way." Emily shook her head gently. "Don't worry about it, sir. The coffee's on me today. Please sit down and warm yourself. It's too cold out there to walk away." The man looked at her as if she had just offered him gold. "I can't let you do that. It's just a cup of coffee." She replied with a kind smile. "You'd do the same for me if you could." And with that, she brought him a steaming mug of black coffee and a small slice of pie on the side. "On the house," she said softly. The man took a sip, his trembling hands wrapping around the warmth. "You're too kind, thank you." "Kindness is free, sir," Emily replied. "It costs nothing but means everything." As the minutes passed, they began to talk. He told her about his late wife. How she used to say, "The richest people aren't those with money, but with kindness." Emily smiled and said, "She sounds like someone I'd have loved to meet." She was. He whispered, his eyes glistening. When he finished his coffee, the old man stood up and pulled an old pen from his pocket. He scribbled something on a napkin and placed it on the counter. "If you ever need anything, call this number," he said. "Tell them Mr. Williams sent you." Emily accepted it politely but thought little of it. She tucked the napkin under the counter and went back to work. Days turned into weeks. Life didn't get any easier. Emily's rent was overdue, her daughter's medicine was expensive, and the cafe wasn't doing great. Her manager cut her hours, saying business was slow. She nodded quietly and said she understood, even though her heart felt heavy. That night she went home to her small apartment. Lily ran to her with open arms, her little face lighting up. "Mommy, did you bring cookies?" "Not today, sweetheart," Emily said, forcing a smile. "Maybe next time." "It's okay," Lily said softly. "I just want you." Emily hugged her daughter tightly, tears welling up in her eyes. She stayed up late that night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long she could keep going. As she cleaned her bag the next morning, she found the napkin, the one with the number the old man had written. She hesitated for a moment, then picked up her phone and dialed. "Hello," a woman's voice answered. Hi, I might have the wrong number," Emily said nervously. "An older gentleman gave me this number. His name was Mr. Williams." There was a pause. "Where did you meet him?" "Ma'am, at the cafe on Elm Street. He came in for coffee a few days ago." The woman's voice softened. "Please hold for a moment." After a brief silence, another man spoke on the line. "Hello, this is James Williams. You said you met my father." "Yes," Emily said quietly. "He came by the cafe. I didn't know him well, but I'm sorry to tell you this." James interrupted gently, "But my father passed away 2 days ago." Emily froze. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," James continued, his tone filled with emotion. "Before he died, He wrote in his journal about a waitress who bought him coffee when he had nothing. He said it was the kindest thing anyone had done for him in years. He asked me to find you. Emily's eyes filled with tears. I was just doing what anyone should do. He wanted to meet you again. James said softly, "Would you be willing to come to our family estate tomorrow? There's something he wanted you to have." The next day, Emily found herself standing before massive iron gates that opened to a mansion unlike anything she'd ever seen. The garden was beautiful, the fountain shimmered in the sunlight, and everything felt surreal. A chauffeur escorted her to the front door, where James Williams greeted her with a kind smile. "You must be Emily," he said warmly. "My father spoke very fondly of you." "I still can't believe he's gone," Emily replied. "He was so humble, so kind." James nodded. "He built this entire place with his own hands." "Well, metaphorically. My father was one of the wealthiest men in the state, a billionaire. But in his final years, he lived simply, preferring to see how people treated him without knowing who he was." Emily stared in shock. "A billionaire?" James smiled. "He liked to test hearts. And you, Miss Parker, passed his final test." He handed her an envelope sealed with a wax stamp. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a letter written in elegant handwriting. "Dear Emily, thank you for the warmth you offered a cold, forgotten man. You reminded me of the world my wife believed in, a world where kindness still exists. I wish I could have thanked you in person, but maybe this will help. Yours truly, Charles A. Williams." Along with the letter was a deed, transferring full ownership of the cafe building to Emily Parker. Emily's voice trembled. This can't be real." "It's real," James said gently. "My father wanted you to own the place you've worked so hard for. He believed you'd use it to make others happy, just as you made him." Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "I don't know what to say." "Just keep being who you are," James replied. That's all he ever wanted. Months later, the cafe looked brand new. The walls were painted. The sign outside now read Williams Cafe, and it was filled with life again. Emily was no longer just a waitress, she was the owner. A photo of Charles Williams hung by the counter, with a small plaque beneath it that read, "Kindness costs nothing but changes everything." Customers who came in every day still saw the same Emily, the same warm smile, the same gentle words. But something in her eyes had changed. She had learned that life has a strange way of rewarding the good we give. One morning, a customer looked around the busy cafe and said, "You've come a long way, Emily." She smiled and replied softly, "I just followed my heart. Be kind, even when no one's watching." As the morning sun filled the cafe and laughter echoed through the air, Emily realized something profound. She had once believed she was just a waitress, but now she understood she had always been something far greater, a living proof that one small act of kindness could change a life forever. Because sometimes, when we help others without expecting anything in return, life finds the most extraordinary way to say thank you. And that's how a simple cup of coffee turned into a story of hope, compassion, and the kind of wealth that money could never buy.